Okay, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the the Listos, California. Excuse me now, of course my voice gets I've been talking all this time. Okay, my name is Gloria Coder and I'm from Reach Out, and we're working with the Listos California project. And Listos means ready in Spanish, and so that's what we want to make sure is that all Californians get ready for emergency preparedness. So that's what we're here to do today, is just get a little bit of information out to you so that you can begin to get ready, okay? We also have a little note up here at the top that, stay with us for the entire time. At the end of the presentation, we have a little form for you to fill out, and we have a first aid kit drawing, okay? So one of my big things that I always say is don't be scared, but be prepared, okay? So if you are prepared for something, you know what to do, you've got things ready, oops, and there it went, okay? You've got things ready to go, and you're not gonna be scared because you know where things are, you know what to do, okay? Disasters and emergencies, they're unexpected most of the time, and they happen quickly. You don't usually have time to shop or pack, and that's why we want you to, prepare now and pack up important things right now so that you and your family will have what you need. Okay, this, what we're going to be going over today, we have the Listos Disaster Ready Guide, and I've taken out some pages of it and shown them here because this Disaster Ready Guide, we can get it to all of you. It's rather large, and it opens up in a little bit bulky format to show on here. But I'm going to be going over the information that's in here, and we'll also give you the link where to download that also if you want an electronic version, okay? So if you are not ready, or if you used to be ready and you need to get ready again, everybody says, how do we start? So here's the 5 steps to emergency preparedness that Listo wants you to be aware of. The first one is to get alerts so that you know what to do. There's several alert programs out there, many of them. They have them for the earthquake, they have them for your county, they have them for your city. And you can go to that calalerts.org right there at the top. And I have another page that I'll show you a little bit more. It has it like on the back of this, and we'll go over it a little bit better in detail, okay? So if you can get alerts on your phone, your email, they even have where if you're one of the people that aren't too electronic, using electronics, they can do phone calls for emergency preparedness alerts also, okay? We want you to make a plan to protect the people that you care about, okay? If you don't have a plan, then most of the time people don't know what to do, and that's when they get scared, okay? We want you to get to safety with the things that you need. So if your home is no longer safe, your workplace is no longer safe, wherever you happen to be when the disaster, if it's no longer safe, we want you to be able to get somewhere, and we want you to be able to take those things. And we're going to go over to-go bags and such as that in just a little bit. The fourth thing is we want you to stay at home when you can't leave. The electricity might be cut off, the water might be cut off, but your home is still intact, say after an earthquake, and your home is still safe. So if that's the case, we want you to be able to stay home, and we're going to talk about what goes in a stay box. The fifth thing that we want you to do is, once you've learned this, share it. Share it with your neighbors and your family and help them get ready too. Okay, share it. Okay, stay connected with emergency contacts. Many times, I know nowadays, we all have our phones. We do not have phone numbers memorized anymore. Back in the olden days, we had to memorize phone numbers, and people knew them. Now people don't know them if they don't look in their phones. So this is a very good page to print out and download and put physically, write down all these things, because say your phone goes dead and you need to call someone else may have a phone you can use, but you don't know what the phone number is. So if you have this list and you can put it in with your emergency documents, that would be great, okay? I love this little part down here at the bottom. It says, it's in red, it says try texting if a local phone calls can't get through during a disaster. That is really so true. It takes less, I don't know if you call it bandwidth or something, but it takes less radio waves to send a text than it does to make a call through a cell tower. So remember that if you can't get through, try sending a text. Say our emergency is here in California, lots of times you can call out of the state, but not within the state because all the circuits are so busy because we're having a disaster here. So think about having an out-of-state contact that you can call them. During Hurricane Katrina, my mother was in the New Orleans area, and she could call me, I could call her, but you know, within the area, they weren't able to call. So just keep that in mind. Okay, here's what I was talking about, all the emergency alerts. There's many ways. If we go back to the TV, we have that emergency broadcasting signal, right? You hear, this is the test of the emergency broadcast system. At the beep, you'll hear, you know, this information beep, and you always hear that. So turn on your TVs if we've got electricity. If not, if we've got radio, portable radios, a lot of people don't have those anymore, but they're very good to have in your emergency kit. I have one in mine that's actually a hand crank one. So it's something good to give to the kids. They can crank it and you know, get the radio there for you. If you need to have a safe place to go, 211 is an excellent resource. 211, you can call them and they'll let you know where the closest shelter is that you can go to. Your landline phones, your cell phones, you get the alerts on through email, smartphones, social media. I know every time we have an earthquake around here, I hear about it on social media before I even know about it. Okay, ham radios. A lot of people do not know about ham radios, but they are making a resurgence. And the ham radios, they have some really tall towers and they can go longer distances. So lots of people that are in emergency preparedness, they actually have a ham radio license. It's something you have to have a license for through the FCC. So we all have this where you can download this and the link at the end. And it has all the rest of the places that you can go, the 211, Cal Alerts, the Cal OES, response.ca.gov, ready.gov, the Listos, California.org, ready.gov, CERT. CERT is a 20-hour training, and it gets you ready to help yourself, your community in cases of disaster, and you learn a lot in there. I'm actually CERT certified. And then they have the CFAlistos.org, and that is an 8-hour preparedness program through Listos. That one just doesn't cover quite as much as the CERT, but it's a great emergency preparedness program. The next thing is evacuation action, okay? If it's not safe, like we talked about, if it's not safe to be at home or wherever the disaster happens, you should have a plan ahead of time to meet up, you know, with your family and the people that you care about. But you need to make that plan ahead of time, okay? If you have, I know back when we had, I think we had kids in, like, we had a high school, we had junior high, we had elementary, and we had daycare. We had 4 different schools at one time. And at that time, we made our plan was, okay, the high schooler is supposed to go to, or I think the junior high was supposed to go to the elementary school and pick up the elementary kid. And then the high schooler was supposed to go over to the daycare and pick up the daycare kid. And then they're supposed to, you know, we had our meeting places. So whatever your situation is, figure out an alternative. If there's other people, people's houses or emergency contacts, people that they could call, but make that plan ahead of time, okay? You need to be ready to go to the safest, go in the safest direction, to the nearest safest place, and you're just not going to get a lot of warning. You know, our disasters here, you know, the majority of ours would be earthquake is our main focus, but then we also have a lot of wildfires in our area, in Southern California, Northern California, all over. And so in case of fire, you've got to be ready to go quickly, okay? So that's what we want you to, you know, listen to the local authorities, about where to go. If you don't know where to go for the shelter, once again, we can have you call 211 or dial the 211 and that will give you information. This is really important. Learn different ways to get out of your community fast. If you always go the same way in and out to your house, you need to think up some different ways, because if there's a disaster over here and you only know how to go this way, you need to figure it out. And one of the things that we have you put in your important documents and stuff is a map. Get a map of your local area. If you happen to be a member of AAA, you can go down there and ask for maps for free. If not, I think they're only a couple dollars somewhere, or you can just download a map off the internet too for your area. But be ready to go to a safe place and find different ways about going to them. Okay, we're going to talk about a go bag, and this is something that you're going to pack ahead. I actually have my go bag here. This is my go bag, and I've got a lot of stuff in it. Now, before you pack all this up, you've got to make sure that you don't pack it too heavy. My pack weighs, I weighed it this morning, and it actually weighs about 18 pounds. So that's a good reason to have a backpack so you can distribute the weight evenly, but you got to make sure that you can carry it. You don't want to pack an 18-pound pack and put it on a little 7-year-old. They're not going to be able to handle that, okay? But a backpack is always good because it's something you can grab and go. But if you don't have a backpack, another good one that you can do is if you've got an old wheelie suitcase that has the handle on it, those are great for going because you just pop out that handle and you can roll it all. And, you know, lots of times we have suitcases, they have a little tear or hole in them or something, you're not really using them, but they're great for that. So we also have these emergency preparedness bags that we can get to you. And this is to give you a start just in case you don't have anything, okay? You need to start somewhere. And one of the things that we want to talk about is your documents, okay? We want you to make sure you have your important documents. And some people, I just have a little sample document here. Some people might say, well, what are some of the important documents? So how about like a birth certificate? That's something that we would want, right? So we want to put that in there. If you happen to have a passport, you know, put your passport in there. Uh-oh, oh, I'm
Get squipped ahead.
oh, I touched the pad, didn't I? I'm so sorry. Go, okay. Oh, one more, sorry.
There you go.
Okay. We don't want you to put your driver's licenses in the document folder. We want you to make a photocopy of them and you can put those in there, okay? We want you to keep your driver's license where they belong, okay? If you have life insurance papers, okay? Those are very important, put those in there. Another good thing to put in there is if you have pictures of, you know, your family, if you have a picture of your pet, put that in there. Here is a map of the Pomona, Ontario area, and it also includes Altaloma, Claremont, Cucamonga, Laverne, Montclair, Pomona, San Antonio Heights, Upland, Chino, Eastvale, Harupa Valley, Miraloma, Ontario, Rancho Cucamonga, San Dimas, Walnut. This one covers a lot. So put a map in there in case you've got to go someplace. If you don't have photocopies or the documents, you know, the other thing you can do is get a little flash drive and you can put them on that and put that in there. Another important thing to put in, this is just some low play money, is real money, okay? So put some real money in there, and it is very important that you keep small bills, okay? Put a couple dollars in there every week or something like that, but yeah, mostly just put ones in there if you can, ones, fives, you know, nothing larger than like a 10 at the most, because it has happened in the past when people have had emergencies. They've gone into stores, the electricity is down, and the people in the store say, well, I can't process the credit card. Do you have cash? Well, if all you have is a $20 bill and you're trying to buy something for $4, they're going to say, I can't even open the register right now. So you're either going to have to pay $20 for that $4 item or go without it. So that's why I tell you it's really good to, you know, carry small bills, because that will help you. Okay. The other things that we want to make sure that we put in them is, you can see in the picture here, we've got water, we've got glow sticks, we've got masks. Nowadays, these masks are really hard to find. So actually in my pack, I have like 2 bandanas in there. So bandanas or whatever you have for a mask, put those in there. Goggles would be good just in case you have to do some kind of rescue, and heavy duty gloves too. You want something that is like a work glove, because if the disasters happen and things are down and you have to maybe help move things out of the way, you want some work gloves. You don't want to be doing those with bare hands. Oh my goodness, this is being so touchy. I'm so sorry. You want to make sure that you, you know, have a first aid kit, whether it's little like that. Here's a little one that we've made, and we've also made one, and it fits inside an empty pill bottle. So if you have some pill bottles that are a little bit larger, you know, not the real tiny ones, something like that, or just a little baggie, those will work. Okay. If you have a bigger first aid kit, I'm trying to see. I'm sorry. If you have a bigger first aid kit, I have this one and it just has a strap on it. So this one just zips up, and it's got, this one was one that was pre-made, and you can use that too. Whatever you happen to have, you know, get it packed up so you can take it with you. Now I love this picture down here. This is a bucket. So we have these 5-gallon buckets you can get like at Lowe's or Home Depot, and I think they're about like $3. And this is a great thing if you don't have a backpack or a bag. You can fill all your emergency supplies right in a bucket. Put the lid on it and you've got a handle and you can carry it. So that makes it portable. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about some of these things?
Myra just had a question about where we can get the orange go bags, and I let her know that we have them both at the Harupa and the Upland office. So we can also send them to you. We've been distributing them in neighborhoods, so just let us know when we can get that to you.
Right. So, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The other thing that's in the to-go bag is really important is water. You'll see this little block of water. It's actually the same one that I have. It's in the picture. These are like those squishy, the juice boxes. Okay, so they're pretty good. You put them in the backpack. If they get squished, they don't leak. Okay, so if you have those are good. Also have emergency water that is like this. It's in a foil pouch. And this has about like a 5-year life on it. And these are really great. I have actually like 2 or 3 of these stuck in my glove box, just in case I got stranded on the freeway. So I have at least a little bit of water. When I first started my kit, this is all I had. And this works. You just have to make sure you go in and change them more frequently, because these other ones have like a 5-year lifespan, and these usually have about a 2-year lifespan, I think. So you just have to, if you have water bottles, whatever you have, just make sure you pack water. You're going to need water. And you also want to make sure that you pack some little food, some snacks. I have like some of these little, I don't know what you call these. They're little Kind bars. You can put some little Cliff bars in there, protein bars. This is one of my favorite things because it's peanut butter in a pouch. And you can just do this, and you don't even have to have crackers or anything to eat it on. If you're, taking it with you, you can just open it up and eat it straight, and you're getting your protein that you need. If you want to get a little bit more fancy, they have Emergency Preparedness survival tablets. These are actually chocolate flavor. And so they have I think each meal has about like 500 calories in it, I think. I think they have like 4 tablets, so it's kind of a meal replacement. But when you're in an emergency, you may think that a lot of these, if you do look at them, some of them seem high in calories. But when you're in an emergency situation, you're going to burn a lot more calories than you normally do. So even though it looks like a lot more calories, you're going to need that because you're going to be doing things that you don't normally do. You're going to also want to make sure you grab like a flashlight. Put flashlights in there, anything that you can kind of think of. This is an emergency candle, and this one's actually citronella scented in case you want to take it outside, And this one, I think they burn for 115 hours. And so these were about like $3 or $4 at the emergency supply store. There's lots of little things that you can get for kind of inexpensive, and you can add them just a little at a time. Okay. This is actually a picture of my family's go bags. So we actually bought the bags, and they had like a small little starter kit in them. And so that's what we started with. And it had it had like that little small emergency first aid kit. It had like a couple little snacks in it, and just a few items. So then we had to customize it for ourselves. And there I am with that water. I wanted you guys to look at this picture. When I was going over the emergency preparedness stuff, I looked down at my husband and I's shoes, and he had on flip-flops, and I just had these slide-in shoes. When there's an emergency going on, you really don't want either one of these kind of shoes. They're not good because in an emergency situation, you're probably going to have to be walking a lot, and you want a shoe that's much sturdier. So a tennis shoe, something that ties, or a boot or something like that, but you don't want to have to be walking around, and that's because it has no protection for your feet. And during the emergency, there could be things down, broken glass and things like that. So these ones just would not protect you. Okay. Now the other thing that we have is the grab and go. And this is something that you pack as you leave. So you've already got your go bag packed and ready. You should probably have it, in the closet by the door. This is stuff that you've got, but you can't pack it because it's stuff that you need every day. So if you're a man, you want to grab your wallet. If you're a female, make sure you grab your purse. Grab your keys, your house keys, your car keys, first aid kit, portable radio if you haven't been able to put it in your pack, another flashlight. You never can have too many flashlights. You want to make sure you take your phone and a charger. I have in my first aid or my emergency kit is this. This is a solar powered charger, and it has all the connections in it. Sorry, this way. It has like 3 connections, so you can connect up to like 3 items, and it takes about an hour in the sun to charge 100%, and you can charge the different ones. I got this on sale at Christmas time, and it was like about $25 to $29, and it's about a pound, so it's not too heavy. It's just a little bit bulky, but this will be very nice for when we don't have electricity, so we can recharge our phones. But grab your chargers, okay? You want to grab your prescription medication. Any that you have, grab it. And if you have a laptop or tablet or something, grab that. You're gonna also want to, think about maybe change of clothes, okay? At least some underwear. You might want to change your underwear, okay? Toothbrush, if you have a baby, you're gonna want to make sure that you bring some of those things that are needed for the baby, diapers, formula, any of those type of things. If you have some older adults and they have special needs, make sure that you kind of think about, what they need, and, set that aside, or make sure you grab that when you get ready to go. People that have different medical conditions, if you have someone that's diabetic and insulin, you're gonna wanna probably make sure you grab an ice chest and some ice to keep the insulin cold. If they have different disabilities, and with your pets, don't forget about your pets having a go bag for them too. You'll wanna make sure you put food and water, a collapsible bowl, things like that. Anything that they need to, keep them comfortable, a little blankie, something like that. Oh, and the first aid kit. Okay. The stay box. This is what we were talking about, like if it's not safe, well, if it's safer for you just to stay at home than to go somewhere, okay? If they ask you to shelter in place, kind of like the COVID, we were asked to shelter in place. Well, one of the good things that you can do is, it has a picture here, it's a Rubbermaid box, but you know what, if you don't have the money for that, you can get a clothes basket, you can just get a cardboard box. Just get anything that you have, even if it's a, paper sacks right now, plastic bag or something, just make something that's there to go, and you can put it in the corner in your closet, okay? You wanna make sure that you have enough water, and the recommendations are 1 gallon per person per day. So if you're making this for 72 hours, which is the very minimum that the government has asked us to prepare for, you're gonna need 3 gallons for each person in the house. So that may be a lot depending on how many people you have in your house. I know one of the things that I have a friend, and we've actually gotten some like 5-gallon jugs, and we put one like in the bedroom, one in the living room, and like one in the kitchen at his house, in case you never know where the earthquake's going to damage. So if he can't get to one area, he has water in the other area. So that's really good. You want to make sure you put some food in it. You want to make sure that it's all non-perishable and stuff that does not require cooking, because the electricity, the gas may be off, and you may not have any other way to cook. Some people that have outdoors, they probably have a barbecue, but you can't cook all foods on barbecue, or I don't know, some people might say that you can. But make sure that you have something that your family will eat, okay? If you went, I went to the dollar store the other day to look and kind of see maybe some little things that they had. So here's like a little chicken salad, okay? Don't buy this if your family doesn't like chicken salad. If they won't eat it, don't buy it, okay? Potted meat. A lot of people cannot stand this stuff, okay? But in an emergency, you can eat it, okay? Same thing with these Vienna sausages. But for some reason, your family doesn't eat pork, don't buy these, okay? Same thing here, I've got tuna salad, a couple little things like that. You wanna make sure that you put that in there. The other thing you wanna make sure that you put in there is trash bags. Okay, you wanna make sure that you have ties with them. And once again, this good bucket, okay? The bucket can be used for a toilet. Now, the way that you do this is you take 2 garbage bags. Never put just one in, because if one breaks, you've got a mess, okay? So it's always good to have 2 in there, and you can just put it over the sides of the bucket. Go to the 99-cent store, get that good old pool noodle, and you're just gonna open it up, and you can put it right there on the top. It'll hold the bag in there, and then you have a little cushy for your tushy when you sit on the little bucket toilet. And you see right here, the toilet paper is actually hung on the handle. So you can take the handle out from the little hole, put the toilet paper around it, and put it back in, and there you go. So you just have to make sure you have a little privacy. And I've known some people that actually do like 2 toilets, and they have one for number 1 and one for number 2. So if you got a large family, you might want to do that. Okay. Some of the other things you want to make, if you've got other important items, think about those type of things that you use every day that you might run out of if you're stuck at home for days. First thing that came to mind for me is the toilet paper. After this COVID, you know, we couldn't even find it for a while. So we do want you to put away a little bit of toilet paper for your emergency, because you know, you will want that toilet paper. You'll want some soap, some sanitizing items, any personal items, but just kind of think about what you use in your day-to-day, and something that you know, what might be important to me would be different than what's important to you. So think about that and make a list, and those are things that you could put in your pack. One of the other things I didn't really cover, but in your to-go bag, especially if you have children or even yourself, I have 2 paperback books in my to-go bag, because you may not have electricity again, and you want to keep yourself entertained. So I think we have like a pack of cards, and we have like, each of us have like 2 paperback books in there. Something to keep yourself occupied, especially with the children. So think about something that you could take for your kids to put in there to keep them occupied, because you may be in a shelter and you're on cots and there's not a lot to do. You really don't want to take like a basketball or anything like that, because that's going to be a lot of room, but something that they can sit and do quietly. Okay, we've got our earthquake safety tips here. Best thing to do, again, prepare. Okay, if you've got tall furniture, you know, secure it to the walls if you can. If you're in an apartment, I don't know how the apartment rules are anymore, but lots of times they didn't want us putting any holes in the walls. So you want to, in that case, make sure that nothing heavy or really tall is like right next to your bed where you're sleeping, where things could fall on you. We want to make sure that nothing heavy is over the bed, the sofas, or the chairs. You need to practice the earthquake drills for the family. We used to practice them, and it was actually fun with the family. We would, all of a sudden we'd go, okay, earthquake, and we would all stomp our feet on the ground, boom, 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 boom. And so we would know, they would know that's the earthquake drill, and then we'd go outside. But it was fun just pretending to have an earthquake, you know, by stomping your feet. So little kids like that. Okay, you need to know when to turn off your gas, electricity, and water. I put when. A lot of people don't know when. For the gas, you only cut it off if you smell gas. Okay, once you cut off the gas, you cannot turn it back on again. The gas company has got to come back out, or a licensed plumber has to come back out to turn it on. It is not safe for you just to turn the valve back on the way you turned it off, okay? Because they can get something in the lines and you could have an explosion. So once you turn that gas off, it's off until someone official can come back, okay? Electricity, we don't want you to turn off your electricity unless you see broken or exposed wires. Okay, and you're going to go turn off your electricity at usually your breaker panel. And one of the things we might show in a later video, but I'll just go over it really quick. When you go to your breaker box, we want you not to stand right in front of it and turn it off this way, because breaker boxes, some of them are old, they can get dust in there, and they have grease, and it can cause a fire. So if you're doing like this, it has happened before where it has caused an explosion and it goes right in your face. So when you are turning off breakers, we want you to go to the side. We want you to be the side, and you turn them off from the side. So if something does explode, it's only going to get your hand, not your whole face, okay? Neither one will be good, but one is less than the other, okay? Water, if you need to turn off your water, if you've got broken pipes and things are flooding, okay? During the earthquake, this is something I had to learn. I did not grow up out here in California. I grew up in the South, and we were used to having tornadoes and hurricanes. And the first earthquake, oh my gosh, I started to run so fast. And then I found out later, don't do that, okay? They ask you not to stand in the doorways anymore either. They're not quite as sturdy as what they thought, so they want you to get down, get under a desk or table. If you are in your bed, they've suggested that you stay in bed and just put the pillow over your head. If you happen to be like where in my bedroom, my bed, I only have probably like about 2 or 3 feet, and then my dresser's there. If you have a little bit of a gap space like that, if you got down on the floor really quick, the bed and the dresser would probably cause like a place for things to fall. And you can still get down, and we still want you to, you know, cover your head and, you know, protect your head from any head injuries. So just get down and get as safe as you can. Okay? If you're outside, of course, move away from anything that could fall. You know, you've got these big trees, buildings, street lights, you know, things like that. Look around and make sure that you're away from anything that can fall. If you're in a car, pull over and get away from the buildings and the trees. Don't, you know, if you're on a bridge, that's not good. You know, so you're gonna have to try and make the best judgment call if you can go backwards or forwards and, you know, get to safety. You need to be ready for aftershocks. Once we have the big earthquakes, we have aftershocks. And if you happen to be in the coastal area, you need to watch out for tsunami warnings. Okay. Our other ones that we have, our other disasters, we've got wildfires and floods. We don't have floods too much in this area, other than we do have the flash flooding when we get a lot of rain. And then, you know, we've had the wildfires before that. And then that's when you have to watch out for flooding, is because there's nothing left in the earth to hold all the earth there because of the fires. And that's when we have a lot of mudslides. Okay. So for fires, they want you to remember, you know, plan for that you're not going to have electricity, and, you know, don't use candles because you've got all this fire going on. Okay. Get the bandana, the mask to protect your mouth and your lungs from the smoke. Stuff you can do around your house is clean the gutters and remove any brush so it doesn't get too close to your house. Leave quickly when told, and, you know, watch out for the mudslides. You can also, for if you're in a flood prone area, have sandbags, tarps to help keep water out. Keep your storm pipes and drains clear. If you can, if you have valuables, you know, get them up as high as you can. And this was something we used to always do, especially with tornadoes and hurricanes. We never let our gas tank get, you know, less than half, because we never knew when we might have to evacuate. You need to, once again, learn about your escape routes to higher ground if you were in flood prone areas. And just remember, never walk through moving water or drive into flooded areas. You can see this car right here. Well, you know, once again, I'll tell you a story. I lived in Virginia, and it started flooding and flooding. And you know how I talked about learning a different route? I had to go somewhere, and you know what? I only knew that one way because I'd only lived there about a month. And I started heading down this road, and it started getting more flooded and flooded, and the water was starting to come into the sides of the car. And I was like, oh no, what do I do? I was only like 19 years old, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I saw over to the left of me some grass, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna go over there and drive on the grass. So I went over there to drive on the grass. Well, guess what? Because you can't see what's under that water, there was a big ditch there. I drove on the grass and went ka-chunk, just right down in the water. So now water really started filling up my car, and I had to try and climb out. I climbed out of the car. So don't drive into flooded areas. You just never know what is, you know, under that water. Okay. In preparedness, again, we want you to think about some special circumstances. We started going over it just a little bit, but if you have pregnant women, you might need some special items. You've got infants, if you're a caregiver, you have pets. Look at this cute little puppy picture I found. It's just so cute. It's not mine, but I would love it to be. If you live in rural communities, you don't have the same access and as many resources and places to go, so you need to kind of think about that. If you are challenged anyway in transportation, this was a very big issue during Hurricane Katrina in the New Orleans area, because so many people there did not have transportation to leave when they asked them to evacuate. And so that is something, you know, FEMA has really learned the hard lesson from. And so if you do not have, you know, your own transportation, you need to think about that. Have a buddy, a neighbor, somebody that you can call, you know, just come up with that plan ahead of time. Don't wait until the disaster happens and then try and figure it out. Think about it right away. This is one, new Californians. I was a new Californian at one time. I didn't know what to do. So if you happen to have, you know, people that just moved here from New Hampshire or something like that, you know, they may need you to share some of this information with them. Okay. If people have developmental disabilities, any speech or communication, mobility, physical disabilities, or if their English is limited, these are all certain things that you need to prepare for. I saw a TV show last night, and this lady, she's actually legally blind, and she had a little badge like this that she wears, and it says, I'm legally blind. And so there are certain little things that you can do to go ahead and prepare and plan for any special circumstance. Okay. This is, I think that's about it. I did have like one little tip I wanted to show you to put in your kit. And this is a roll of toilet paper, okay? So toilet paper, you know, usually like this big around. So what I do with the toilet paper, actually take the, just kind of twist it out, and then you squish it. And if you put it in a plastic bag, then you have room for it in your emergency kit, okay? And it doesn't take up as much room the other way. I know all these toilet papers have been getting fatter and fatter, but it doesn't take up as much room. And so that's just one quick little way that you can keep it and store it, and you have it in your emergency pack to go. You can also go to like Walmart, anything, and they have these little like mini camping lanterns. And if you turn them on, they'll have a flashlight this way. They're very compact. You open it up, and it also has a little hanging thing. You can have lanterns. So, check out little things. 99-cent store, they have lots of things that you can make an emergency pack for, not a lot of money. So just kind of think about what you need and what your family needs and what they'll eat and what you would need. And, just put it together a little bit at a time. It's very overwhelming to do it all at once, and it's too expensive to do all at once. So being prepared at least a little bit is better than not being prepared at all. So we actually have a link that Ureli is going to put in the chat. And if you would, it's to register. We're going to have a little drawing, and somebody will get a first aid kit here. And that's the link in the bottom that Ureli's going to put in the chat for us. And then this link here, this is the disaster preparedness ready guide, that big one, but you can print it out into smaller sheets. And it's also, if you go to the website, the listoscalifornia.org, you can find it on there. Did anybody have any questions that I can help answer, or did you have any suggestions that you would like to add to this? You can either.
I have another question.
Sure.
What would you suggest to have in order to entertain kids that are not able to read yet? Because I remember that you mentioned books, so they can actually spend time reading. Do you have ideas for those little kids?
Yes, when ours were little, we did not put in crayons because they will sometimes melt depending on where you put your first aid, your disaster kit. So crayons are not a good thing. You can put colored pencils. If you get some of those little activity books, at the dollar store, those are really good for the young ones. Something that even just blank paper and the pencils. We used to have these little screw ones that, the lead would come out of the colored pencils, and that way we didn't have to worry about a sharpener. Something like that. If there's some of those little games that are like little portable travel games that come in like a little tin, those don't take up a lot of room, and I think they have like, I'm trying to think which ones they have now, but there's a lot of those little travel games that I would look at. See something that's compact. And I would suggest also for your little ones that you make sure that you bring a comfort item. Even for you, if you have a little blanket, if they have a teddy bear or something like that, a little stuffed animal, something, make sure you bring some type of comfort item for them and you. I mean, I have a little like fuzzy blanket that I have in mine, and that works really good. You'll also want to make sure that if you're going to have to, maybe travel, like if it happened today, it's pretty hot outside. So we'd want to make sure that maybe we have a little ball cap, something, to keep the sun off us. Even grab the umbrella if you've got an umbrella, something to keep the sun off of you. Because if we've got to walk a ways to a shelter or something, then we want to make sure that we have, some shelter from the sun. As you get more and more, you can get compact, sleeping bags, or just the sleeping bags that you have. Something that you can go with you. You want to make sure that you have a water bottle of some sort. This one's just an empty one that the YMCA gave us, but it's metal, so we don't have to, you know, worry about so much there. Take something and, you know, you can fill it up before you go or take it with you, okay? Something that you can, you know, just carry with you. You'll want to make sure, you know, change of clothes, you know, just, you've got to really just kind of think about what you would like to have that will make your life more comfortable in case you don't have, you know, electricity. That's kind of what you've got to go back and go, So I don't know if that helps, but I think those little travel games and just, you know, colored pencils and
It does.
papers.
It does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions? We'll have some more little events later on, and I'll probably, I don't want to keep everybody too long today, but we can go through and I'll show you on another video all the things that I have in my go bag. And that gets kind of fun because you can see all the things that I have and it gives you ideas, and you might not want that in there, but it's something that I have decided that I wanted. So we'll do that on another video, and I'll go through my go bag and show everybody all of that. Okay.
Thank you, Gloria.
You're welcome. Did everybody get to register for the first aid kit? Yeah. Any more questions? Well, I hope that this has been informative a little bit for you. And if you would, you know, like one of the orange emergency preparation bags, just, you know, reach out to either Ureli or myself, and we'll be glad to get those to you. And if you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to us, and either one of us will be glad to help you with those questions.
Thank you, Gloria. You gave a lot of insightful information. And like you said at one point, you know, this information is free, it's online, and you can go ahead and talk about this with your family tonight or this weekend with your neighbors and spread the information so that way more people are empowered to be ready.
Absolutely. Yeah. And think about your neighbors. I know in my neighborhood, we've got one man, he lives all by himself. And so, you know, we have the different neighbors that go and check on him. So you need to think about that. If you've got some neighbors that are, you know, elderly and they have no family around, they'll need someone to check on them too.
Thank you.
Okay. If we don't have any more questions, then we will go ahead and call it a day today. And thank you everybody for showing up and listening. And I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, Gloria.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Bye everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.
Stay safe.